Oh, another thing to click off of. There we go.
No, yeah, Tada.
Okay, are we ready to go? Oh, I've got to go. Okay, so we are live streaming. I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to remind council and municipal staff that this meeting is being live streamed to the public. All council meetings are also recorded. Recordings will be available to the public on the Township's YouTube account. Physical attendance of the public at this meeting is restricted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This meeting is held electronically under Bylaw 2020-70 to amend Procedural Bylaw 2018-117 pursuant to Section 238 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. We will not be doing the national anthem this morning as we don't have the technical capacity to do that. However, I would like to proceed with the First Nations land acknowledgement. As we gather today, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We will move to the adoption of the agenda for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021. The recommendation is that the regular council meeting agenda for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 be approved as presented. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Schulist. All those in favor? And that's carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest this morning?
None here.
Okay, there is none. All right. There. Good morning, everyone. When COVID-19 was first recognized as a pandemic, we had no idea how long it would continue or how much it would change our daily lives. The only protection we had was to wash our hands, stay 6 feet apart, keep to our own household, and wear a mask in public. We all worked together to flatten the curve of the first wave and protect our families, friends, and community. We did a great job. Only one person in Madawaska Valley had COVID-19 in 2020. It's now been 18 months since the pandemic began, and there's still no end in sight. As of September 20th, 66 people have tested positive for COVID-19 in Madawaska Valley, with 22 of these cases happening since July 27th. We are in a fourth wave, driven by the more contagious Delta variant. But this wave is different because it's mostly preventable. There are readily available COVID-19 vaccines for everyone 12 years of age and older. Vaccination is one of the best ways to protect your health. Vaccines work with your body's natural defenses to help your immune system recognize and fight off the virus. Getting vaccinated is also the best way to protect your family and others. It's critical to reducing community spread, preventing the return of stricter public health measures, and ensuring our local businesses and economies survive. That's why more than 75% of this community has stepped up and been fully vaccinated. My thanks go to them and to the Barry's Bay Vaccination Clinic team for providing over 12,000 doses of COVID vaccine so far. Another vaccination clinic will be held on September 23rd from 2 to 6 p.m. at St. Francis Memorial Hospital. The unvaccinated are the main target of COVID's fourth wave. The well-being of our children and grandchildren under 12 depends on our ability to limit community spread of this virus. If you still aren't vaccinated and you have concerns, please talk to your doctor or check out the Renfrew County and District Health Unit website for more information. If someone you know isn't vaccinated, please listen to their concerns and help them find the information they need to make an informed decision. There are many reasons why a person may be hesitant to get the shot. Let's forego snap judgments and try to help as many as possible to get fully vaccinated. Thank you. This morning, we have no delegations or presentations, so we will move to the confirmation of the minutes. We have the council and committee meeting minutes of September 7th, 2021. And I will ask Sue to read the recommendations for council.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The council, this is from Roads and Waste Management. The council recommends approving the lowest tender MV 2021-11 construction demolition grinding by National Grinding Incorporated in the amount of $24,012.50 HST included, subject to requirements of the contract, and that it be applied against account 11217704031 waste disposal CD grinding. Number 2, that council approve the purchase of 2 additional landfill covering plates from Draper Industries for a total cost of $27,765 plus applicable HST, and any shortfall be drawn from the Waste Management Equipment Replacement Reserve. From Operations, Water, Wastewater and Facilities meeting, 1, that the Ontario Clean Water Agency performance report for the water and wastewater plant's second quarter is accepted as presented. 2, that council approves Ontario Clean Water Agency funding proposal for the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, ICIP Greenstream Stage 2, and that the Aqua professional fees to complete the application of $3,900 are approved. 3, that council approve the Ontario Clean Water Agency expenditures as presented, totaling $16,732.11. Invoices, work orders 2133465, 2208496, 2224302, 2267681, and 2316209. From the Fire and Protection Emergency Management meeting, 1, that the fire call and bylaw breakdown reports are accepted as presented, and that the draft exotic bylaw is approved to proceed to bylaw approval at an upcoming meeting.
Sue, could
Yes.
we just add animal in there? It's the draft exotic animal bylaw. Otherwise, the public may wonder what we're doing.
Thank you. So noted. Change made.
Thank you.
From the Planning Matters and Statutory meeting under the Planning Act, 1, that council approves the CEO clerk providing a concurrence letter to Rogers Communications Inc. on the proposed wireless communication site at 60 Kubashevsky Road. From the Finance and Administration meeting, 1, that council directs staff to bring back policy EO3 to reflect the addition of the September 30th statutory federal holiday called National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, and that the policy is brought back to council by bylaw to amend the corporate policies. 2, that council directs staff to bring forward the procedural bylaw 2018-77 to be amended to include as part of the agenda after the meeting is called to order a First Nation land acknowledgement as worded and proposed by Mayor Love. 3, that council directs staff to order an orange highway banner reflecting Every Child Matters, and that the cost is paid from highway banner expense.
Okay, thank you. And just the overarching recommendation is that council and the council and committee meeting minutes for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021 be approved as amended with those recommendations. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Are there any of these recommendations that council wishes to discuss? Okay. Are there any errors or omissions in the minutes? Okay, I do have a couple. Just I would like to note on page 12 of the agenda under 4.1, I think if we could just note when I came into the meeting and assumed the chair, because I was not at in the meeting in the initial bit. I did mention about the exotic animal bylaw, if we could just put animal in there, because otherwise I'm not sure what an exotic one is. Okay, and then when we look on, now it's page 17 of the agenda, 8.1.6. There's a question that I asked about the communication expense line that was actually under the fire budget and not emergency preparedness. So it just needs to be moved to the budget to actuals for fire, which is 8.1.4. And let's see, did I have any others? Oh, something on page 23. Okay, and then on page 23, under return to open session, it says council reviewed a human resources update from the CAO clerk and the Delphi group. The Delphi group was not at this meeting. They were at the subsequent meeting on September 14th. So if we could just remove "and the Delphi group." Those were the things I had noted as amendments. Is that acceptable to the mover and the seconder? Okay. Is there any other errors or omissions anyone noted? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. All right, next are our special council meeting minutes of September 14th, 2021. And just bear with me because I did notice. All right, I do have an amendment to propose, so I might as well just let council know. On page 27, under the confirming bylaw, if we just look, it's just an error where it says the bylaw be given first and final reading. It's first and second reading. And that was it. So the recommendation that I have is that the special council meeting minutes for Tuesday, September 14th, 2021 be approved as amended. Could I get a mover? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Are there any other errors or omissions anyone else noticed? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Is there any business arising from the minutes? Okay, I'm not seeing any.
Mayor Love,
Yes, sorry,
Uh,
Sue.
just wanted to add that the highway banner has been installed.
Actually, maybe Gwen, would you like to comment on the comments that have been received about the highway banner? Because I know you've been on top of that. I'm putting you on the spot. Oh, and you muted yourself. Should be good now.
Okay, sorry, my unmute takes a long time to unmute. The highway banner was on social media, has been very well received with over 10,000 people that have noticed it. That's not highway traffic. I'm not sure how many people have seen it driving through town, but on social media, it has been a huge success. I had one resident comment that they were proud actually when they seen the banner placed up the day that it was placed up. So I think it was a good news story. The t-shirts have arrived and I'm distributing them as we speak. There'll be a bunch will go to the schools, and all three principals were very gracious to receive them, and they will figure out how to distribute them amongst the kids in the school. And then the ones that are either homeschooled or not in the school, either any of the three schools have contacted me and are looking for shirts, and many have promised to send pictures when they have them on. So we'll post that on our social media sites as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions from council? Councillor Schulist.
Yes, to you, Madam Mayor. Listen, Gwen, I want to thank you for this great initiative. I think that's a good investment and we do have to show our support and respect for what has happened. And so I thank you for this great initiative. I'm sure this schools will receive this in a positive way for sure. And again, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Councillor Plinsky.
Yeah, just want to echo what Councillor Schulist just said, Gwen. I think it's a job well done. I think that also we realize how powerful the social media is. I know on my page I had many, and people from all over the darn country saw it. Just thought it was a great initiative, so thank you.
Thank you. And to note to the public, it is something council intends would be put up every year at this time to recognize the Truth and Reconciliation and the need for more work to be done to ensure that we are working with our partner First Nations to make everyone's life better.
Yes.
So thank you, Gwen, and that's great. I just wanted to draw some attention to that because it's nice when council makes a decision that we hope is in the best interest of the community, and the community responds and says, yes, they're very, very happy that we did make that decision and that we are recognizing what has happened and hoping that we can do better in the future going forward. So thank you both. Okay, municipal reports, here we are. Request for proposal. Now we are getting a verbal update on the Combermere Community Center and South Fire Hall backup generator MV 2021-05 and North Fire Hall emergency backup generator MV 2021-06 by our chief fire official, but I can't see him.
He's not here right now. So if it's okay, I can review the report.
Aha, okay, go ahead, Gwen, please.
All right, so we had a tender out for both the South Hall, the North Hall, and the Combermere Community Center for a backup emergency generator. We received one quote from Welk Electric. The quote for the Combermere Community Center and the South Fire Hall was in a way that we could either get one generator or for both, or two generators, one for each building. The tender came back in with a recommendation for one generator for the two buildings, and in the long run, it saves on maintenance and maintenance agreements that are done yearly. And the North Hall was a very similar generator to the one that the township just had installed. We only open these tenders Friday morning, so we had to review them Friday, and we wanted to contact Welk Electric because the price had slightly increased from the time that we installed the generator here at the municipal office. So we just wanted to check on why the price had increased, and it's basically COVID pricing. The price of wire and some other parts of the generator were more costly. So after reviewing them, our recommendation is that council approve the request for tender MV 2021-05 Combermere Community Center and South Fire Hall for one generator at a cost of $45,413.20, excluding HST, and that request for tender RVP MV 2021-06 Barry's Bay North Fire Hall backup generator to be approved at $23,036.67, excluding HST, and that both are subject to requirements of the contract, and that it be applied against account 1-26-00-799998 emergency preparedness capital expenditures.
Okay, Councillor, you've heard the recommendation. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Any discussion on the recommendation? Councillor Poplinski.
My comment, thanks, Mayor Love, was I think we've got this budgeted item, have we not?
Yes, there was 70,000 in the budget.
Thank you.
Okay, so both generators were 70,000, like combined?
Yes.
Okay, so we are coming in within the budgeted amount.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from council? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we don't have standing committees today, but we do have a lot of bylaws. Council, as we're going through these, you may note there were a couple of typos because there are so many of them that are similar but different parts of property. I will try to identify to you where I've made corrections on the agenda. The bylaws themselves are correct, but occasionally as they were translated onto the agenda, some bits didn't quite come across the way we needed them to. So if you hear me say something that's different from what you see on your agenda pages, I have confirmed these changes with staff. Okay, let's start. Bylaw 2021-68 is regarding a shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Trout Lake in front of Lot 20, Register Plan 549, designated as Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-19709, and in front of Lot 20, Register Plan 549, and in front of Lot 154, Range B South, designated as Parts 2 and 3 on Reference Plan 49R-19709. Geographic Township of Jones, County of Renfrew, Santos and Royas, SNI 2020-12, and Pagliarol, SNI 2020-13. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-68, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along Trout Lake in front of part of Lot 20, Register Plan 549 in the Township of Jones, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley and the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners, and that being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along Trout Lake in front of part Lot 20, Register Plan 549, and in front of part Lot 154, Range B South in the Township of Jones, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners, be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. 21st day of September 2021. There we go. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-69 regarding the shoreline road allowance and road allowance closures and disposition along Long Lake in front of Lot 31, Register Plan 348, designated as Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-19558, and that part of the original allowance for road lying between lots 10 and 11, Concession 10, designated as Part 2 on Reference Plan 49R-19626, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, Switzer, SWI-2020-14. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-69, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Long Lake in front of Lot 31, Register Plan 348, Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and part of an original allowance for road between lots 10 and 11, Concession 10, Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley, County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-70 regarding a shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Long Lake in front of Lot 30, Register Plan 348, designated as Part 2 on Reference Plan 49R-19558, save and accept Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-19626, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, McCann, MCC-2020-06. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-70, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along Long Lake in front of Lot 30, Register Plan 348 in the Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-70 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Long Lake in front of Lot 29, Register Plan 348, designated as Part 3 on Reference Plan 49R-19558 and Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-19626, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, Slowski, SLO-2021-01. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-71, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Long Lake in front of Lot 29, Register Plan 348 in the Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-72 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Long Lake in front of Lot 28, Register Plan 348, designated as Part 4 on Reference Plan 49R-19558, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, Banny-Taman, BAN-2020-15. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-72, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Long Lake in front of Lot 28, Register Plan 348 in the Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-73 regarding a shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Long Lake, aka Halfway Lake, in front of Lot 17, Registered Plan 520, designated as Part 2 on Reference Plan 49R-19761, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, Suleiman, Moy, MOY-2020-11. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-73, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along Long Lake, aka Halfway Lake, in front of Lot 17, Register Plan 520 in the Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay. And we'll move to the next one. Bylaw 2021-74 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Green Lake in front of lots 4 and 5, Concession 9. Designated as Part 5 on Reference Plan 49R-19614, Geographic Township of Radcliff in the County of Renfrew, Marchand, MAR-2021-06. The recommendation is the bylaw 2021-74, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Green Lake in front of lots 4 and 5, Concession 9, Geographic Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, being part of PIN 57583-0183LT, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Can I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-75 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Kaministkeg Lake in front of lot 29, concession 1, designated as parts 1, 2, 3, and 4 on reference plan 49R-19698, subject to an easement in favor of Ontario Power Generation Incorporated over parts 2, 3, and 4 on reference plan 49R-19698, Geographic Township of Sherwood, County of Renfrew, Fulford, FUL-2020-01. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-75, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Kaministkeg Lake, fronting lot 29, concession 1, Geographic Township of Sherwood, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, being part of PIN 57562-0157 LT, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, this one is one where the numbers I'm about to read are a little bit different from what's on the agenda, but they match the bylaw. Bylaw 2021-76 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Blackfish Bay in front of Lot 5, Concession 8, designated as parts 3, 4, and 5 on reference plan 49R-19747, subject to an easement in favor of Ontario Power Generation Incorporated over parts 4 and 5 on reference plan 49R-19747, Geographic Township of Radcliff in the County of Renfrew, Ishkanov, formerly Scott, SCO-2020-05. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-76, okay, being, just one sec. Is that what I said? Yes, thank you. Just double checking. Being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Blackfish Bay in front of Lot 5, Concession 8, Geographic Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, being part of PIN 57584-0181 LT, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-77 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along Blackfish Bay in front of Lot 5, Concession 8, designated as parts 6, 7, and 8 on reference plan 49R-19747, subject to an easement in favor of Ontario Power Generation Incorporated over parts 7 and 8 on reference plan 49R-19747, Geographic Township of Radcliff, County of Renfrew, done, DUN-2020-04. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-77, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of Blackfish Bay in front of Lot 5, Concession 8, Geographic Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, being part of PIN 57584-0181 LT, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-78 regarding the shoreline road allowance closure and disposition along the Madawaska River in front of Lot 8, Concession 3, designated as parts 3, 4, 5, and 6 on reference plan 49R-19689, subject to an easement in favor of Ontario Power Generation Incorporated over parts 4, 5, and 6 on reference plan 49R-19698. Oh. Was that, I think that might have been 8, 9. Let me just double check if I can, maybe with Mr. Lerbetsky. Should that be 8, 9? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot.
I
Mr.
apologize. My screen has disappeared. I'm hoping you're able to hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't have the bylaw in front of me. Just a second, I'll quickly grab it.
I'm sorry. I missed that one. I think it's just the two numbers were transcribed backwards. Or transposed, that's the word I want.
Okay, let's just see. Okay, so it is, the reference plan number is 49R-19689.
Okay, thank you. I
Okay.
just missed that.
Nope,
that
no
one.
problem.
Okay.
Thank
And we'll continue. And the acquisition of land for road widening purposes, Lower Craigmont Road, being part of Lot 8, Concession 3, designated as Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-19689, Geographic Township of Radcliff in the County of Renfrew, Stevenson, STE-2020-07. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-78, being a bylaw to provide for the closing and stopping up of part of an original allowance for road along the shore of the Madawaska River in front of Lot 8, Concession 3, Geographic Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, and for the sale thereof to the abutting landowners, and to govern the acquisition of lands in Lot 8, Concession 3 in the Geographic Township of Radcliff, now in the Township of Madawaska Valley in the County of Renfrew, for road widening purposes, be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay. Give me 1 second here. All right, our next bylaw is bylaw 2021-91 regarding a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment of Lot 6 Registered Plan 432 being part of Lot 34 Concession 6, Geographic Township of Radcliff from Seasonal Residential SR to Seasonal Residential Exception 1 SR-E1, subject to the requirement of a site plan agreement. It's the Susan Jane Behan, BEA-2021-11. Now, Sue, I do believe you have a recommendation to read
Yes, I do.
before I continue with the bylaw.
Yes, please. That the zoning bylaw for Susan Jane Behan, County File number 2B2126.11 be passed, and further that a site agreement is entered into as outlined in the County of Renfrew recommendations.
Could I get a mover for that recommendation, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any discussion on that recommendation? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, I'm going to now read the recommendation for bylaw 2021-91. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-91, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2006-26 of the Township of Madawaska Valley as amended, be given first and second reading this 21st day, isn't it the 21st day? Yes, of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Schulist, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any discussion on the bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-91 be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Give me 1 second. Sometimes you just get a bit of dry mouth. All right, we'll move on. Our next one is bylaw 2021-92, and this is this comes out of the public meeting this morning. And as noted, there is some clarification needed on parking access and a deck before we can do all three readings. So we will proceed with first and second reading. It's regarding a site-specific zoning bylaw amendment of part of Lot 179, Range B North, designated as Part 1 on Reference Plan 49R-3475, Geographic Township of Sherwood in Barry's Bay. From commercial, C, to residential 2, exception 6, R2-E6, Danuta Talukder, TAL-2019-15. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-92, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 2006-26 of the Township of Madawaska Valley as amended, be given first and second reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. So as I said, we will hold off on third and final reading until the items that the County of Renfrew identified in the planning report have been dealt with. All right, our next bylaw is bylaw 2021-93 regarding Arborvitae Road speed limit reduction. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-93, being a bylaw to decrease the speed of motor vehicles from statutory speed limits, be given first and second reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-93 be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Schulis, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-94 regarding authorizing Hydro One Networks Incorporated for the installation of a primary underground cable in the vicinity of number 915 Tamarack Road, Cumbermere Lodge Limited, Chippewa Shore Subdivision. And I do believe, Council, you received an updated version of this bylaw via email. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-94, being a bylaw to give authorization to a Hydro One Networks Incorporated for the installation of an underground cable service along Tamarack Road, be given first and second reading this 21st day of September 2021. Can I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Schulis. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's, oh, sorry, all those in favor? Okay, and that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-94 be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinski. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-95 regarding a development agreement for lots 28 and 29, Plan 361, and part of the shoreline road allowance along Paw Lake, designated as Part 7 on Reference Plan 49R-9617, severance application B03-21, Spanik and Snolton. Council, you did receive the development agreement as well via email, which was to be attached to Schedule A. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-95, being a bylaw to authorize the entering into an execution of a development agreement between Stephen Alexander Spanik, the Township of Madawaska Valley, and Bradley Harold Snolton, be given first and second reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Bromwich. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none.
Mayor,
Oh, sorry.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, I don't have a screen with, I can only hear you speaking. On this particular bylaw, I was supposed to have the signed agreement back from Mr. Snowden. I received a copy of an email exchange between the solicitors. There's 2 solicitors involved. There may be an amendment by adding Mrs. Snowden's name to the agreement as well, but we wanted to pass the bylaw because it doesn't change the content of it. It's just the ownership, and they're just concerned about the severance aspect of it so that their current property doesn't merge with this property. So it's just a little bit of a legal technicality. So there may be a modification by adding Mrs. Snowden to the agreement. Thank you.
Okay, so should I be asking that this be as amended?
We're not 100% sure. It was a knee-jerk reaction this morning. They haven't decided, but I think as long as it's duly noted that the bylaw could be possibly amended to include Mrs. Snowden, that might be just the safest way of doing it.
Okay, so council, you've heard that information. Now I've lost my place. Did I get a mover and a seconder? I did. Okay. So is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-95 be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Bromwich, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Bylaw 2021-96 regarding the dedication of Birchview Drive as a public highway. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-96, being a bylaw to dedicate land as public highway, be given first and second reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Schulist. Is there any discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. The recommendation is that bylaw 2021-96 be given third and final reading this 21st day of September 2021. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Any final discussion on this bylaw? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Whoa, 17 bylaws. That's got to be a record. So we have completed bylaws. We will move on to public meeting and planning matters. 12.1 is an acknowledgement and direction. Matthew J. Bradley, barrister and solicitor, regarding an outstanding mortgage, Andrew J. Antha contracting subdivision agreement. And Mr. Lorbetsky, are you going to speak to this? Could you join us?
Yes, Madam.
At least with audio.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. This is subsequent to our review of the dedication of Birchview Drive. Diane from Bradley Law discovered that there was this outstanding mortgage that the municipality was holding with respect to this block of lots. It was to ensure that the developer completed the works pursuant to the subdivision agreement. That has now happened. We have removed the holding symbol. We've dedicated the street as a public highway. And this is just to remove that lien against these lots so that the developer can sell them to the prospective purchasers. And we have no issue in releasing this. We have researched with the operations manager. We still hold security on the large acreage. It's actually in municipal ownership. So any part of the subdivision that has not been developed is still subject to us holding on to that property until the subdivision is completely finished. So it is safe for the municipality or for the council to authorize the signing of the discharge by you, Madam Mayor, and the CAO. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on this for Mr. Lorbetsky? Just council, I found it fascinating to note that this agreement was entered into in 2002. I was a member of council in 2002. So I'm back and it's full circle with this agreement. It's nice to see this subdivision working its way towards completion. I'm going to read the oh, wait, Sue, yes. Sorry.
I just had a question. It's just for clarification for Mr. Lorbetsky. Are we in the resolution as we're reading it out? Did they itemized the lots. There was discussion about adding lot 18.
No,
don't
because
need
it's
to?
not, no, we don't, because it's
Okay.
not part of the mortgage document. It doesn't reference that. That lot had been sold by Andrew J. Antha to another owner. So I would imagine at the time of the sale that there was a possibly a discharge, or it may still be outstanding, but it doesn't affect the mortgage document that the municipality holds. And as I say, Andrew J. Antha could only mortgage what they owned. And if they had sold lot 18, they couldn't mortgage it to the municipality. Thank you.
Thank you for the clarification. Thanks.
Okay, so I'll read the recommendation. The recommendation is that council authorizes the discharge of outstanding mortgage from Andrew J. Antha Contracting Limited, secured upon lots 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, Plan 596, Township of Madawaska Valley, County of Renfrew. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Poplinski, seconded by Councillor Wilmer. Is there any discussion on the recommendation? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, we'll move to correspondence information items. We have the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, correspondence dated September 9th, 2021 regarding site plan control guide. I had this provided to council so that hopefully there's a link there. If you want that link, please check with Ms. Dombrowski so that she can get you that link and you can look at the information on site plan control. We do occasionally have to do site plan controls, so it's good to have a sense of what is looked for in those types of agreements. Any discussion from council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to letter from St. Francis Valley Healthcare Foundation dated September 1st, 2021, read the Valley Manor Redevelopment Project support. Yes, so we have we sent the check? Does anyone know if we've sent the check?
I'm not clear. Usually it's at the end of the year or after we receive the request from the foundation. But it has been budgeted for. This would be our third year in that 3-year commitment.
Right. So it's just a matter of ensuring that that does happen. Okay, any comments, discussion from council on that? Okay, we will accept that as information, and I assume this is probably the impetus to make sure the check does get sent. We'll move on to correspondence action items. We have 14.1 OV Boss Babes podcast, sponsorship opportunity. Now, I'm not sure, I guess maybe Gwen, are you going to speak to this? I noticed it was sent to you. I don't know who wanted to speak to this.
Either one could speak to it. Gwen, I think you did receive a response from the county if you wanted to reference that. And I would add that we did verify, and last year we did sponsor the package of $199.
So I did contact the County of Renfrew to see if they were, it was through our staff meeting on Monday that we wanted to make sure that the County of Renfrew wasn't also supporting with on behalf of the township, and they confirmed that they weren't. So if council would indulge, as per the CAO clerk, I would suggest the $199 sponsorship for 4 episodes.
Okay, so was this not something that we discussed about at budget time?
Yes, we did it once already, and they have done their podcast, and they're quite well received on, I believe, 4 women at the time, and they have 4 other women that they would like to present.
Okay, and do we have I don't know what line item that came from, but do we have some funds in that line item to ensure that within our budget, that this would still be within our budget?
Yes, we would be taking it from advertising and promotion.
Okay. Discussion from council. Do we want to pursue another, how many episodes?
4.
4 more episodes for $199?
Yes.
Do we want to hold off and look at next year's budget and consider whether we want to do this again? What would you like to do? Okay, I'm not getting anything. I guess, oh, wait, Councillor Flinsky, and you're muted, so you have to unmute.
It's still muted.
Still muted.
There we
doing?
go.
How are we doing?
Good.
I think I just heard there that this was well received, and we had budgeted $199 in the past, and if we have the money for it, I think we should then do that, and we can always reconsider next year and see if that's where we want to go. But if that's to be done now before the end of the year, then perhaps you know, it would be proper then to if we've already made that commitment, then I think we should do it.
Okay, I think we fulfilled the commitment we made. This is a request for an additional commitment. Have I got that straight?
Yes.
Okay, this is a request for an additional commitment. Okay, Councillor Wilmer.
And if we still have the money, I believe well, I'll leave it up to staff. If staff think it's a good idea, I would support it. It would be nice to have 4 more local businesses represented, and so anything like that is positive. I guess I'd like to find out a little bit more about how many people actually see it and that sort of thing, but we could get that information, I'm sure, after. But if the first 4 were well received, I certainly think, and if we have the money available, I think we should continue. I think it's a great idea, and some good businesses in our community are getting exposure.
Okay, why don't we ask that, because this would be something we'd be considering in next year's budget as well. Why don't we ask that we get some statistical information on viewership for any requests they're making for next year, so that we can see the track record of what we have supported and how well it has done before making a decision next year as well. I think it would be good to have that information. Sue.
Yes, I'll just read out. They did provide a bit of information on that within the package. They currently have over 9,000 downloads, more than 500 subscribers, and are achieving 250 to 300 plays per episode. Gaining new listeners after every release, have 2,000 followers on Instagram and 1,500 likes and followers on Facebook. Listeners are tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other online streamlined platforms. Demographic being mostly female listeners between the age of 25 and 35. Podcast currently has a 4.7 star rating on Apple Podcasts. So I propose, as you just mentioned, Mayor Love, when we're doing budget deliberations, we can bring more the local benefit for council consideration. So to consider advertising for next year. But I do have a resolution for consideration, if I may read.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
That council approves sponsorship to the OV Boss Babes podcast project in the amount of $199 for 4 episodes, sponsoring 4 local residents. And as it was listed within the package, the 4 upcoming businesses that would be sponsored would be Balmoral Hotel, Gifted Gray, Madawaska Coffee, and Church Street Flowers.
Okay, so we are sponsoring episodes on our local businesses.
Yes.
Okay, could I get a mover for that resolution? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor Poplinsky. Any further discussion? Councillor Wilmer.
I just wanted to say thanks to Sue. I should have read that before I asked my question. I guess it was in our package.
I think that though that they'll probably be coming to us to continue our relationship next year. So it would be good to let them know that we'd like to know some of the stats from our 2 sponsorship packages, so we can, have an understanding of what the success was, and hopefully what we're going to see is that this is building an audience for our local businesses and community members. So that would be a good thing. Sue?
No, and I want to clarify, thank you for the question, because I think there are more stats that we could get. Is there more intake and more followers from our area when we do sponsor those businesses, and does it provide for them a new follower? So I think it was a very valid question. Thank you.
exactly. Okay, is there anything further? Seeing nothing, all those in favor? And that's carried. Okay, Sue, do we have any new business or any unfinished business?
I don't have any new business. I would like council consideration to maybe forward some available dates so that we can schedule a meeting to discuss the land surplus. We now have received the building condition assessments, and we'd like to prioritize going through that. Because the building condition assessments that were received are very detailed, there are pictures for each facility. There is a spreadsheet for each facility recommending condition, life cycle, proposed repairs, and proposed cost. I think it warrants a special council meeting for that review, and we would like to have that sooner than later. So I'm not sure if you just want maybe Gwen to send out a request, but I didn't want to lose sight of it, and I'd like to be able to schedule something for that.
Okay. Oh boy. Calendar being very full. Do you want some date suggestions, or do you have some date suggestions you could send us?
I think what we'll do is we do have your calendar, Mayor Love, so we will go around some of your county meetings and send out some proposed dates. And then if council can, confirm a
Okay.
date and a time.
Are we looking at October? Because October looks a heck of a lot better than the rest of September.
Yes, October would be fine. If it's at the beginning of October, that would be
Yes.
fine. Yes.
Okay. I think there's some more opportunities there at the moment than there is in September. So why don't we, maybe I'll connect with Gwen and just give her some dates, and she can send them out to council, and we'll see which one works for everybody.
That's great. Thank you.
Okay, great. We will make sure that gets done, because Gwen will make sure that gets done. That way, if I forget, it still happens. All right. With that, I guess that completes our business up to our in-camera session. We do have an in-camera session. The recommendation is that the meeting enters in-camera session to discuss matters pertaining to personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiations, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, a trade secret or scientific, technical, commercial, financial, or labor relations information supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board, which, if disclosed, could reasonably be expected to prejudice significantly the competitive position or interfere significantly with the contractual or other negotiations of a person, group of persons, or organizations. Ontario Municipal Act 2001, Chapter 25, Section 239, 2B, D, F, and I. Number 1 will be the council meeting minutes in camera of September 7th, 2020. Council and committee meeting minutes in camera of September 7th, 2021. Number 2 will be the special council meeting minutes in camera of September 14th, 2021. And number 3 will be a report by the CAO clerk for the request for proposals for service delivery and delivery charges. Could I get a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Wilmer, seconded by Councillor